AT&T's desperation continues to sink in, as now, yet again, they're trying to sell Crunchyroll for the second time for $1.5 billion. You know, for a company standpoint and how popular anime is, this would be a very bad move for AT&T. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. AT&T, as we already know, has recently gotten out the axes. They started chopping heads. I mean, insanity has been going on over at AT&T. The layoffs, and this is just round one of layoffs, has already been huge. And now they're to the point to where they think that selling Crunchyroll is a good idea because they just want to sheerly focus on HBO Max. And when you look at anime, you look at manga, look at the popularity of it going up, right? From a company standpoint, there's a lot of money to gain in that. And I think that selling Crunchyroll is the worst idea they could have. And I'm going to get into all the reasons why. Report, AT&T looking to sell Crunchyroll for $1.5 billion. I mean, you know, they've already tried to sell it before. Here they are trying to do it again. And I think this is going to help them, shave debt off. A new report details that AT&T is looking to sell Crunchyroll to Sony for as much as $1.5 billion. The report comes from The Information, who cite three people familiar with the situation. The Information is the same outlet that had previously reported that AT&T and Warner Media were having discussions about selling Crunchyroll back in May. Now, of course, what stopped that from happening was the fact of the pandemic. That stopped everything for them when they were going to try to do this. And we already know they started putting some Crunchyroll material, some of their content, onto HBO Max. So, I mean, there had been a lot of talks in the past of them actually just kind of merging Crunchyroll into HBO Max, which, honestly, for anybody who had an account, they could have given them a deal, however much % off for a subscription to HBO Max to watch anime. Could have been a smarter idea, really, if they had done that, but instead they didn't. Their May report detailed AT&T's Warner Media has had discussions about selling a Crunchyroll. One of the buyers the report detailed that they had discussions with was Sony, which, Sony, we already know, they have a big market when it comes to anime. They own both Funimation and Aniplex. So, they were already trying to sell it to Sony back at that time. And, it's kind of funny because the irony of all that was Funimation was actually partnered with Crunchyroll at one point, and then, of course, they separated. But if you kind of look at it now, considering everything, it might go back to being that way, because I don't think going forward Crunchyroll may be in the same position that it's in. It may not be with AT&T for much longer if Sony decides to take the bite here. But with the debt, that AT&T has had with the bad launch of HBO Max, which, like I stated before, should have been on Amazon Fire Stick, or it should have been on Roku. That was bad on their part. They didn't get that to happen. They've tried to also sell off other companies under them. One big one that they tried to sell off, which is a big moneymaker, because AT&T, apparently they're not very wise in certain areas when it comes to trying to get rid of their debt. They were trying to sell off their Warner gaming unit. I mean, trying to sell that off, which that's a big moneymaker, when you look at games, right? Games do reel in a lot of money, and their games sell very well. I mean, you look at the Batman Arkham series, people really love that series, So for them to have thought that trying to sell off the Warner gaming unit, yeah, that's not a good idea. And Crunchyroll, with how popular anime is, it's not a good idea either. So continuing with the article from Bound to Get Comics, at the time, they speculated the reasons for selling the company were to reduce debt, and that's exactly why. The company had faced pressure to reduce debt from the shareholder Elliott Management, but they had reportedly cut a deal with them back in October. However, that report from May also indicated that plans to sell off Crunchyroll might have changed, with Warner Media's new CEO, Jason Kilar, taking over as well as the result of the ongoing pandemic. Now, think about Jason Kilar. Jason Kilar is the one who actually had anime put onto Hulu. I mean, even though he may be a fan of anime, as he states he has been, thing of it is that he's not enough of a fan to keep Crunchyroll, around. It seems like he just wants to cut it off to try to get rid of debt. And, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, what they could do, which would be a smarter move in my opinion, is if they really want to sell HBO Max to people, they want people to jump more on it, they already have Studio Ghibli, which is the only place that it's being streamed on, which is HBO Max. So why don't you just go ahead and put Crunchyroll content, like, not just like part of it, just put it onto HBO Max, make it its own separate thing on HBO Max. People could have a deal on that, and, they could watch anime there. I mean, plain and simple. I don't think it'd be that hard, but of course, they're just thinking about what would really reel in the money. The new report also details that Sony is a prime target to purchase Crunchyroll, and again claims the reason behind the sale is to reduce debt. The information reports Warner Media's willingness to sell Crunchyroll, which has contributed content to the company's new streaming service HBO Max and has featured in its marketing. Also shows AT&T's willingness to sell valuable assets to bring down its $151 billion debt load. They add AT&T has been looking to sell non-core assets to reduce debt. Among the other businesses on the block are Warner's gaming unit. So, as I already stated, gaming unit was something that was on the chopping block. No company under them is safe. And this could also be the reason why there's delays in, like, High Guardian Spies, for example. Like, oh Lord, who really wants to see that? I'll be real with you. But, this tells you why there could be some cutbacks here on why some content's not coming out for Crunchyroll. And, when you look at this, for example, Sony sets out to conquer entertainment world with anime. I don't think Sony would be a very good option for Crunchyroll to be sold to, because while they already have Funimation, they already also have Aniplex. Owning Crunchyroll would be another big ticket for them, just basically owning practically everything within, the West, which when you look at it, it'd just be one big monopoly at that point, which, monopolies are not good. They're not good. Tokyo. Sony will leverage the combined strength of group companies to expand its animation business overseas, making it the fourth pillar of its entertainment portfolio after music, movies, and games. Our group wants to contribute to delivering Japanese anime to fans worldwide, said Sony President Kenichiro Yoshida at a strategy meeting on May 19th, describing animation as a business that embodies the One Sony concept. And look, here's the big thing, and this is my thoughts on it. With how Sony, how much they've changed, and, how they have gone completely 180 to where they used to not censor things. Now they do censor anime games, for example, whatnot. It's kind of funny. They went a 180 from what Nintendo used to do, right? Thing of it is that I don't think this is good for anime, because this could mean that with them having so much control over that, they could start to censor things themselves when it comes to anime, not just games. And the big thing that Warner Media and AT&T don't seem to understand is that there's a lot of value in anime. I mean, there is. It sells so much more than comic books now. Like, look at manga and look at comic book sales. Manga's doing better than comic book sales. So, I mean, and you continue to see it rise because comics are just falling. The industry itself is dying. So, there's also that. But Warner Media, all they're really focusing on is HBO Max. That's all they care about. But in the grand scheme of things, if they were to keep Crunchyroll, yes, they can make a lot of money. They've already put some of Crunchyroll's content on HBO Max. So just put the anime onto HBO Max as well. They already have Studio Ghibli, which is the only place to stream it. That's already a good sign. So just put the other content onto HBO Max. That would be well worth it. And I think they would be able to get a lot of people invested into it at least. But, they don't seem to think about that. And I mean, you look at the DC Comics layoffs, like, it's a bloodbath. I mean, it's a slaughterhouse over there. And I mean, at one point in time, they even tried to get rid of DC as well. So, Crunchyroll, as well as any other company under Warner Media, since their whole priority, the only thing they really care about right now is HBO Max, nothing's safe. Nothing is safe to them. It doesn't matter if it's a great and popular company under them that people enjoy. It doesn't matter. Nothing is safe. And, with them already going for 800 staffers, 800, and this is just the first round. Let me remind people, this is the first round of layoffs. This is not about to be over with yet. So, with it just being 800 here, this is going to be a big amount of layoffs. I mean, for DC, it's already a bloodbath. But you might as well say it's the great AT&T massacre, because that's basically what's happening. I mean, they're just sitting over there, taking out their axes, and they just start cutting heads. And, when you look at it, what does this mean for Rooster Teeth as well? Well, Rooster Teeth has basically canceled themselves because they're so stupid as a company. They're probably the stupidest and most unorganized company underneath Warner Media that they own. I mean, at this point with Crunchyroll, potentially being sold off, which there's already been talks in the works of how that Rooster Teeth themselves might be merged into Crunchyroll. I've heard from insiders that that might be the plan, and if that turns out to be the plan, I wouldn't be surprised, and then Rooster Teeth won't even be a company anymore. It'll be gone. I mean, and they already want one big studio for HBO Max anyways. That's what they're trying to do from what I've been told. So, looking at it, Rooster Teeth isn't sacred either after trying to destroy, 17 years worth of content that they find problematic they're going to get rid of. Absolutely ridiculous. But, with Crunchyroll going forward, I mean, AT&T is making a very terrible move trying to get rid of, this because anime's so popular. It's so big, and, when you look at it, it's one of the final forms of entertainment that's actually good. That's not, doused with politics or agendas. So I mean, for AT&T to get rid of anime, I mean that would be a very terrible move, and I don't think Sony is of all places the place for it to go if it does get sold to them. I don't think that that would be a good place for anime to end up, and Crunchyroll. It might get sold off, but we'll just have to see. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you were new here, and make sure you were still subscribed because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you were still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the news videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow can always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.